Alright, here's our first video for the final. I'm going to go through a bunch of topics. They're just going to be reviewing different topics throughout the semester, and just a bunch of examples to help you study for the finals. Hope they help. Alright, so first thing, we're given a sine or cosine curve. It could be either one. And I'm going to find two equations that model this curve. One using sine and one using cosine. Alright, so let's start with the sine curve. Okay. Here's the general formula. Okay, so I have to find values for A, B, C, and D. Alright, so first of all, what I like to do is I like to sketch a dashed line through the middle of my graph. And that amplitude right there, before I get started, before I continue, here's the scale. Okay, so each line represents half a pi. All right, that's important. All right, so my amplitude is just that distance from the middle of the graph to the maximum, or from the middle to the minimum, but it's 2 in this case. B is going to be related to the period. Using that formula, we always use that formula. The period is the distance from maximum to maximum. In this case, it's from pi over 2 to 3 pi over 2, which is a distance of 1 pi. So B is also 2. C is going to be how far it's shifted left and right. This one is, alright, so I'm using sine. Sine starts at the middle of the graph. Sine starts at its middle. So it's shifted to the right that amount. Okay, I actually know that amount. It's right in between 0 and pi over 2. So that amount is just pi over 4. And then D is how much is shifted up. Well, it's shifted up 1. There we go. And from that we can write our first equation. So 2 sine, we're using sine. B is 2. X is, let's see, we're going to the right. Ooh, to the right pi over 4. To the right pi over 4. So minus pi over 4. And then up 1. This is one equation for this graph. Let's find another one using cosine. So now we're going to use cosine. Amplitude's the same. Let's see, what else is the same? It's still shifted up 1. Our B is the same as well. The period, because the period is still just 1 pi. Now the only difference here is that now a cosine curve starts at its maximum, so now it's shifted to the right that amount. So it's shifted to the right pi over 2. Now using that information, I can write an equation for cosine. Okay, these both model the same function. Alright, they both model the same function. That works. Okay? Alright, so here's an example where we are going to sketch the graphs of two sinusoidal functions. Again, let's see here. So I'm going to sketch this in. Okay, so this is a sine curve and it's shifted up 1. So since it's shifted up 1, I'm going to go up to 1 and draw on a dotted line at 1. It has an amplitude of 4, so it's going to go up to 5 and down to -3. Okay, so if we're just sketching it, here's the best way to do this. Just draw in your curve. It's a sine curve, so it's going to start at its middle. I'm just going to sketch in a sine curve. Actually, no. Let's figure out the period. So b is 1/2. The period is 2 pi over 1/2. And so the period is 4 pi. So out here is going to be 4 pi. Here is going to be 2 pi, 1 pi, and 3 pi. So it starts in the middle. It starts in the middle. It's going to go up, down, and back up and complete one full cycle in a distance of 4 pi. Which means it's going to go up and down in a distance of 2 pi and then down and up in another distance of 2 pi. In between that, I can put in points. The max and the min. Then I can sketch it. Alright? And going backwards. It's pretty good. Okay? Alright, so this guy now. See here. Now it's cosine, and it's flipped. Okay, so I'm going to start by sketching a grid. It's flipped, and it's down 3. Okay, it's down 3, so go down to -3, and draw my dotted line through there. It has a magnitude of 1, but it's flipped. So usually it's going to go from -2 down to -4. And a cosine graph starts at a maximum, but it's flipped, so it's going to start at a minimum. And then if b is pi over 4, then then the period is going to be 2 pi divided by pi over 4. A little bit of math will allow us to find b. If I'm dividing by pi over 4, it's the same as multiplying by 4 over pi, which is 8. So the pi's cancel out. So it has a period of 8. So I'm going to go out here and put 8, 4, 2, and 6. So if it starts here, it's going to return to a minimum at 8. That means it's going to go up and reach a maximum at 4, and then in between those spots is when it's going to cross the axis there. You can So I really recommend plotting points. Once you find that period, plotting the points you know it's going to go through, then sketch the graph through that as well. I'm going to do one more example in my next video.